So while we are on turbidity watch, I think we were at 25 late yesterday. The reading today will come out later this afternoon. Wanted to give you an idea of our dams and our spillways out at North Fork and how they handled themselves during the storm. So what you see here is the auxiliary spillway at North Fork a couple of years ago during normal conditions. The big concrete thing that you see there is the auxiliary spillway. It's normally bone dry. And as you can see, the water is absolutely crystal clear. And the shallower portions, you can see all the way to the bottom. And this is mid afternoon on September the 27th, after the storm had sort of, the worst of it at least, had passed through as far as the rainfall. Just to give you some facts and figures, the reservoir at North Fork was 8 feet below full before the storm due to inconsistent rainfall in the weeks leading up to Helene. The water in North Fork Reservoir reached full pool at 10:30 p.m. on the night of September the 26th. That was Thursday. And to that point, it had risen 8 feet, probably in about 12 to 14 hours. The level indicators on our monitoring systems top out at 10 feet above full pool. The lake reached that point the morning of September the 27th, Friday at 9:30, which means it had risen an additional 10 feet in about another 12 hours. It stayed at least 10 feet above full until just before noon on Friday, September the 27th. We weren't able to get an exact reading because, again, the indicator had washed out additionally, because the road to the spillway, which is where the person who filmed this was standing, was too hazardous for personnel to access until much later that afternoon. So we couldn't visually see the level above this point until then. All told, the lake rose at least 18 feet during the storm. Now, this is the auxiliary spillway. That was the bone dry thing that you saw on the first slide. And this is well after the peak level of water had passed. That auxiliary spillway, at approximately 7.5 feet above full pool, it activates, meaning the 8 concrete buckets that sit at that spillway, at least one of them had filled up and it tipped exactly as it was designed to do. This is a mechanical activation based on the weight of water behind a concrete block and not initiated by a human. Water Resources has absolutely no ability to release water from our reservoirs. The only way water is released from our reservoirs is from our primary spillway, and in the event of an emergency like Hurricane Helene, our auxiliary spillway. I think we've got another video. So that's also the auxiliary spillway. Same day, mid-afternoon, September 27th. Massive rainfall from the storm caused a torrent of water that eroded ground around our pipes and then pushed them apart. The excess rain that landed in the watershed and reservoir naturally flowed out of the emergency spillway, which you see here, by mechanical and, again, not human activation. Almost 18 inches of rain landing in a 15,000-acre forested watershed that's shaped like a mountainous bowl funneled downhill into a 355-acre lake and caused a lot of water to be concentrated in one place. That water had to go somewhere. That's where it went. It is entirely possible that water from one or both of the spillways at North Fork washed out our main transmission lines. And as you can see there, the new river that formed behind that would make that almost entirely possible. What those spillways also did was prevent what is already a catastrophe from being exponentially worse. The auxiliary spillway at North Fork, which city leadership had the forethought to prioritize as extreme weather events like Helene increase in frequency, almost certainly prevented the dam at North Fork from failing. If that North Fork Dam had failed and unleashed 6 billion gallons of water, it would have meant complete annihilation of everything and every person between Black Mountain and Biltmore Village. It would have also caused water resources to lose our primary treatment plant, and 80% of our city's water supply would have vanished immediately. These same principles about the dams and the spillways apply to the Brule treatment plant in Beetree and the much smaller reservoir there. The spillway there functioned, again, exactly as it was designed to, and without it, we would have experienced certain dam failure, and to repeat would have made an already unimaginable catastrophe exponentially worse. I do have some news about the dams. They were examined again yesterday by our engineers for the third time. Multiple outside engineers have also examined them. And while there are some repairs to be made on both, they are safe. They have been deemed safe and not in any imminent danger of failing. That pretty much concludes my presentation for today. I know you'll have some questions after, but for now, I'm going to turn it back to Ms. Campbell.
Thank you, Clay. And a lot of that information was given because we have heard concerns and questions raised about the status of Norfolk Dam and whether it failed. And so we wanted to add that additional information.